6 massive German shepherds stride side by side through a busy street, every muscle tight, every eye locked forward, and yet, not a single leash holds them. The air thickens with tension, and a dramatic beat drops as people freeze in their tracks. What would you do if you suddenly saw a man calmly leading a pack of unleashed German shepherds, every single one moving in perfect sync like shadows tied to his footsteps? In the background, quick flashes appear, neighbors whispering in disbelief, a petition being signed, and even police arriving at his door. But here's the real twist. The truth behind this man and his dogs is far more shocking than anyone ever imagined. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover the unbelievable secret that turned a quiet young man into a viral legend. Hi, I'm Your Name, and today we're diving into the extraordinary story of Osto and his dogs. The first time people saw Osto de Oliveira on the streets of Hyannis, Massachusetts, it didn't feel real. It looked like a scene straight out of a movie. A young man, barely in his early 20s, walking calmly down the street with 6 massive German shepherds by his side. No leashes, no pulling, no chaos, just perfect harmony. People froze in their tracks, unsure whether to believe their own eyes. These weren't ordinary walks. What Osto did looked more like a live performance, something you'd expect in a blockbuster film or a professional dog show. The dogs never tugged at him. They didn't chase squirrels, didn't sniff fire hydrants, and didn't bark back at the loud pets trapped behind fences. Instead, every pair of eyes in that pack stayed locked on him, their leader. Osto didn't need to shout commands or wave treats. A soft word, a subtle whistle, even the flick of his hand, and the entire pack moved as one. People couldn't help but stop and stare. Some pulled out their phones, eager to capture the moment. Others asked for pictures, and Osto would smile. With just one quiet command, his dogs froze instantly, standing still like statues. The crowd gasped. Then, with another whistle, the pack flowed back into perfect formation as if nothing had happened. It felt like magic, smooth, disciplined, unbelievable magic. But not everyone was clapping. Whispers started spreading through the town. How could one young man control so many powerful dogs so effortlessly? Some neighbors wondered if he had discovered some secret trick. Others feared he was using something cruel, something hidden that people couldn't see. The admiration quickly mixed with suspicion. Was this talent, or was it something darker? The mystery only grew. Every time Osto appeared with his pack, more people stopped to watch. Parents pulled their children closer, unsure if it was safe. Dog owners whispered to each other, wondering why their own pets never listened like that. And little by little, a new question spread through Hyannis. Who really was this young man with the German shepherds, and what was his secret? The more people saw Osto on the streets, the stranger it seemed. Day after day, he appeared with his pack of German shepherds, and day after day, they moved with him in perfect unison. But the mystery wasn't just about the dogs, it was about the man himself. Osto rarely spoke to neighbors. He never joined block parties or community events. No friends came knocking on his door. His whole life seemed to orbit around one thing and one thing only, his dogs. And that silence made people suspicious. Whispers soon turned into full-blown gossip. At first, people wondered with amazement, how does he do it? But slowly, the tone changed. Some began saying, no pack follows like that unless they're scared. The more they speculated, the darker the theories became. Was Osto using shock collars hidden beneath the fur? Was he beating the dogs behind closed doors? Or maybe, just maybe, he had some unnatural trick to bend them to his will. One neighbor in particular, a woman known in the community for rescuing stray animals, was determined to uncover the truth. She swore to her friends, I've worked with dogs for years. This isn't normal. Something's not right. Before long, she had gathered dozens of signatures for a petition demanding an investigation into Osto and his mysterious control over the pack. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some neighbors grew fearful. Others became nosy. People even dug through Osto's trash, hoping to find proof of something cruel, an electric collar, a bottle of sedatives, anything. What they found was nothing but empty dog food bags and chew toys. Still, suspicion didn't fade. It grew. Finally, authorities could no longer ignore the noise. One chilly morning, police officers arrived at Austo's small apartment. Alongside them came animal welfare workers, ready to uncover what they believed would be a den of cages, chains, or worse. They braced themselves for barking chaos. But when the door opened, what they saw made them freeze. Inside, there were no cages, no chains, no punishment tools at all. Instead, 6 powerful German shepherds lounged around the room like royalty. One sprawled lazily across the couch, another had claimed Austo's bed, and the rest relaxed on the floor as though it belonged to them. And right in the middle of this scene sat Austo, cross-legged on the floor, calm and still. His dogs leaned against him, tails swaying softly, breathing in rhythm with their leader. The officers exchanged confused looks. This was not what they expected. But suspicion still hung heavy in the air. Experts were called in, professional dog behaviorists who knew every trick in the book. For days, they observed Austo from a distance. They studied his feeding routines, his training methods, his daily walks through town, and slowly a different truth began to emerge. This wasn't control through fear. This wasn't discipline through pain. What held the dogs together was something much deeper. It was trust. It was devotion. Austo's life revolved around his pack. He fed them with care, not scraps. He played with them, gave them space to rest, let them curl beside him at night. He didn't treat them as pets. He treated them as family. And in return, they followed him, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Still, the story didn't end there. Just when people thought the mystery was solved, a new twist revealed an even deeper secret. Austo wasn't originally from Massachusetts. He had grown up thousands of miles away in Brazil. On a farm surrounded by animals, especially German shepherds, Austo discovered something rare as a child, an ability to read the unspoken language of dogs. While others heard nothing but barking, Austo noticed patterns, tiny signals, shifts in movement, changes in tone. Where most people saw chaos, he saw rhythm. Where others tried to command, he simply connected. This wasn't a learned skill from books or classes. It wasn't technology or force. It was instinct, a gift. Something in Austo's nature allowed him to bond with animals in ways that defied logic. His silence in the community wasn't hiding cruelty. It was protecting a secret he had carried since childhood. But secrets never stay hidden forever. Word of Austo's unusual gift was spreading fast, and once the wider world discovered what he could do, Austo's quiet life in Hyannis would never be the same again. When the investigation ended, the truth was finally out. No cages, no cruel tools, no signs of abuse. The final report declared what Austo had known all along. His dogs followed. Him not out of fear, but out of loyalty, discipline, and love. For Austo, it was vindication. For the people of Hyannis, it was a revelation. The same neighbors who once whispered in doubt now stood in awe whenever he passed by. The sight of 6 German shepherds moving like one body, guided only by their leader, his presence transformed from something suspicious into something inspiring. Austo had turned judgment into respect and suspicion into admiration. But Austo didn't just stop there. Instead of retreating back into silence, he turned the controversy into an opportunity. He founded Griffin Shepherd Kennels, named after one of his most trusted dogs. At first, it was just a small effort, a few curious owners bringing their restless puppies to him. But what happened next was astonishing. Dogs that arrived barking, pulling, and restless returned weeks later calm, disciplined, and happier than ever. Word spread quickly. Families, trainers, and dog lovers from far beyond Massachusetts began reaching out. Austo's bond with animals had started as a neighborhood mystery, but now it was growing into a movement. And yet, through all this new attention, Austo never changed at his core. Every morning he still walked those 6 German shepherds down the streets of Hyannis. No leashes, no shouting, no struggle. Crowds still stopped, phones raised in disbelief. But now, those stares weren't filled with suspicion. They were filled with admiration and wonder. Then came the moment that would change everything. In 2013, someone filmed Austo and his dogs during one of their walks. The video hit the internet and exploded. Millions of views poured in within days. Comment sections overflowed with shock, amazement, even disbelief. People wrote, "This is impossible. I've never seen anything like this in my life." And one line kept repeating, "This man understands dogs better than anyone we've ever seen." From a small-town controversy to worldwide fame, Osto's story had come full circle. The man once accused of cruelty was now celebrated as someone who redefined what trust between humans and animals could look like. And so, the question remains, if you ever crossed paths with Osto and his unleashed pack, would you be brave enough to walk past them? Or would you stop, stare, and whisper, just like the people of Hyannis once did? One thing is certain, behind the spectacle was never fear. It was a man who gave his life to his dogs, and in return they gave him something even greater, their trust, their discipline, and their love. Thanks for watching. If you found Osto's unbelievable story inspiring, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing animal stories, and share this with a friend who loves dogs. And stay tuned, because the next story might surprise you even more.